Tell me when.
Okay, I'm good. It's not like on you, it's on the board more.
Do
you want it on the board or on you?
On the board.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, so today we're going to start with just, get that door if you would, looking at a checklist for your lesson plan so you will know exactly what you have to turn in, okay? So if you have your lesson plan that you're going to submit to me, you need to get it out and you need to go through and check it. So that's all I need you doing now. I don't want any questions after this because this is going to be detailed. Okay, everybody ready? All right. So in the first part, just the lesson plan format, overarching themes that you need to know. Number one, it needs to be 4 pages, no more, no less. Get it as close as you can. Remember, this is for EdTPA. This is what your requirement for EdTPA would be. So get it as close as you can. If it goes 5 pages or part of 5 pages or something like that, I'm not going to freak out. But now, I do not want to grade. I've had 10-page lesson plans turned into me before. I'm not grading that. Okay? I'll hand it right back to you. So make sure that it's as close as you can get to this. And don't ask me if 4.5 is fine. Get close, okay? Your academic topic is clearly identified. Now that doesn't mean that your academic topic is social studies / language arts. I want to know the subject matter that you're teaching. If you're teaching on the civil rights movement, if you're teaching on the Civil War, if you're teaching on the Industrial Revolution, whatever you're teaching in that social studies text, that's what I want there, okay? Grade level identified, date included, the date that you'll teach. And then it's very organized with headings. If you need bold print in there anywhere, that's a good thing to know too. All right, your standards are written verbatim, word for word on what they are. Now, if you're in 5th or 6th grade, we've already talked about this. You have a huge standard. What are you going to do when you put your standard in there? Are you going to copy all of it? Or are you going to copy part of it? What are you going to do, guys? Copy every bit of it. And then what will you do? Because you can't teach that whole standard in one day. So what are you going to do? Highlight the part that you're teaching. Does that make sense? Maybe I should go in there and put that. Do y'all think? Y'all okay? Highlight the part that you're teaching if you're not teaching the entire standard. Ask me the question now if y'all got questions. Standards do not include the state name. So if you've got on there Alabama Course of, that's what that stands for, take that off. It can say SS 24, 3rd grade, 5th month. It can say ELA. It can say art, okay? But you can't have what state. And that's just for EdTPA purposes, right? Standards clearly connect to the central focus and assessments. Now remember, I did not help you with central focus. Dr. Evans did. And there's a checklist on that, so I'm going to need your help when I get to that part, right? So you got to remember to look back, and we might need to put that in here, to look back at, let's say, central focus and assessments. Let's say, let's put standards, comma, assessments. I'm going to cut that. Put it here. Let's see, we're going to put objectives first, right? Assessments, and then central focus, right? Right. Is everybody pleased with that? Okay. No more than 3 standards. Why do you think that we are cutting you there? Why do we say that?
Because you don't have enough time to go over all of them if you have more
You don't have time. You have 30 minutes. 30 minutes. So that's very important. And I tried to put some time frames in here too that would help you. I also put your places for your standards. There's 2 of them that you can use. So I put those there. Can anybody think of anything else on state standard? Yes, ma'am, Kylie.
So for my thing, I'm doing 9C. So do I need to put 9B and 9 on my thing for standards?
Yeah, if you're
Okay.
teaching the whole thing, are you teaching all that?
I'm just teaching 9C.
Then you're gonna just highlight 9C, but you're gonna put the rest of it on.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Are we talking about art standards?
Uh-huh.
This?
Does not have to go up there. The art standard, let me tell you that, and these CE people listen here. The art standard does not have to go up there. It's gonna go in the arts piece, which I'm gonna go over, okay? Yes, ma'am, Brianna.
Under the standards part, do we have to put like under comprehension, like? if-
You're gonna have to put what?
Do you have to put in parentheses that if it's comprehension or like history?
No,
No.
no, because it's gonna tell me. You know, when you put the standard on there, I can look at it and tell if it's history or geography or economics or one of the strands of social studies. Is that what you're asking? No. No. Okay, anybody else? Okay, help me on the central focus. It should be about 3 to 5 complete sentences. Did she tell you that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, describe the big idea of the learning segment, the overarching theme. It clearly explains what students will understand or be able to do. The other thing I thought about is it should include your what?
Literacy strategy.
Yes, your literacy strategy. And I assume that you have already talked with her about that. Anything else we need to add to that section? Okay, wonderful. Okay, IEPs in this section. The lesson explains how instruction supports the IEP goals. So I think that you do that in the IEP section. Did she tell you that? Did anybody tell you that?
That we do it there, but we have to include it in the instructions.
In the instructional sequence, it should, when you go to a part where if you have students with IEPs, give me one of what your IEPs might say.
Chunk reading,
Okay, chunk the text.
chunk section.
Okay, that's fine. So where did you chunk the text? In your lesson?
At each paragraph.
At each paragraph, she chunked. Is that gonna hurt your, the ones that are just strugglers or that are on grade level? Absolutely not. It's gonna help them too. So go ahead and do that. You see what I'm saying here? Yes, ma'am.
So we need to put the tier 2 and tier 3 and the 504 in the IEP goals.
Say that real loud.
So we need to put the tier 2 and tier 3 and the 504 plans. in the
That's
IEP.
that's what our lesson plan says. Did she say anything about that?
I mean, there's a sentence on there that says if there are no IEPs, right? There are no IEPs in the classroom.
If there are no IEPs in the
There's
classroom,
not, but
there's,
there's like a 504, so I don't know
okay.
if I write that.
What's the 504?
Dyslexia.
Dyslexia.
So I have it in the
That's-
box later, but I don't know if I need to put it in the.
I don't think so. I'm not gonna grade real strict on whether you put those in the instructional sequence, but if you
Well, I
can,
put them in there, I just didn't put them in the IEP box.
I would put it in there, in that IEP box. I would put, it's not an IEP, it's a 504, but can't you just, Kendall, can't you just go back in there and just say, although there's no IEPs, there is a 504?
Yeah, I just didn't know like what all I had to like.
You what?
I just didn't know like what all I needed to write in there that wasn't already in the like box later and in the instructional sequence.
So you can't go in there and do it now?
No, I can. I didn't know like. Never mind.
It's okay. No, I want to answer these questions because your question somebody else has got, and she didn't tell you to do that.
No, I know it needs to go in the box later where we say like all their different supports.
Correct.
In my instructional sequence, I just didn't know if it needed to go in the IEP section.
Okay. If you have already done your IEP section, you didn't put it in there, but you put it in the box and you put it in there, you leave it alone. Okay? I'm not going to count on for it. Okay, supports those tier 2 and tier 3. Did that help you out, baby? I'm sorry. We were not,
Explaining that.
we just were not on that same page. Okay, differentiating those strategies. Those strategies are differentiated, some of them. You have to do that. That's gonna come more. Now I can tell you this. That's gonna come more in your EdTPA when you do your context for learning. Isn't that where you do all the differentiation and everything? Is she making you do a context for learning?
Yeah, we already
You've already turned it in?
We have.
And she's okay, if she's okay with it, if she put any suggestions, you might wanna think about what you're doing. Okay, now, I know I can do this next part, right? So let's look at the lesson objectives. Don't put more than 2 or 3, please. You don't need that many, you can't. They've got to be observable and they've got to be measurable. You know, I just think sometimes I close my eyes and I just read that IEP, Kendall, you got me messed up, okay? No, I'm playing. I close my eyes and I just read it and I think, can I see this? Can I see this? So it's got to be observable. It's got to be a measurement. Condition. That's where we are. Like maybe using an graphic organizer or something like that. That's a great thing to put in there. Student performance or action. That is your action verb, and it comes from Blooms and Webb's. If you have not had that out while you're planning, you have made a mistake. Go back and change that verb if it's not on Blooms or Webb's. Okay? All right, and now, success criterion. If you give me 80% after I have beat this in the head, I'm gonna jump up and down and have a fit. 80% is not what I want. Now, I do want the 80% outcome, okay? At least you're expecting that out of your students, aren't you? So I do want the outcome to be 80%, but I want it to say something like 8 out of 10 questions, 8 out of 10 words, 4 out of 5. It may be an anticipation guide, and you don't have but 5 questions on it. Does that make sense? Please, please, please be the first class to make 100% on objectives. We might have a big old party if we do that. Okay, so now where do they align? Where do they align? They align with the standards. They align with the assessments. If it's in that standard, I'm teaching that part, the part that's highlighted is where I'm going to get my objectives from, right? And if I'm teaching that today, then I'm writing my objectives based on that standard. After I write my objectives, I'm going to go straight to that assessment part, straight to it. And I am going to list those assessments. They've got to align with that. Yes, question.
Okay, so like my objective says, my measurable objective, it says the students will be able to analyze the article about Lurleen B. Wallace to identify at least 2 examples of how civic, so is that like,
Yeah.
I don't have to put?
No,
Okay.
you don't have to. That's 100% though.
Okay.
You know, and that's what you're expecting. That's fine. I know that when we look at that article, when y'all look at that article that day, you're going to require 2.
So for the condition part, what I put, so this is what I already have. Students will identify and write the explicit main idea from the passage about Hank Williams in a complete sentence. And then like I'm doing that on a graphic organizer thing. So what I put on a graphic organizer?
You can? Yes,
Okay.
that's good. That's very good. Because she's telling me what she's using there. Remember, I'm a substitute teacher. So I'm coming in and looking at this lesson plan, and I want to look at it and be able to do exactly what you want me to do. Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay, like in our lesson, if we are like scaffolding, like we're preparing everybody, like we're doing chunks for everybody, and like everybody's getting treated as like a scat? I don't know if I'm asking this right.
You mean all 6 students that you have, everybody is doing kind of the same thing, but
as
it's,
my accommodation student?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Because
That
that's
is
how
perfectly
my
all right.
Trojan's teaching, Trojan's teacher does it, and I like it. I
Yeah,
wanna follow
yes.
that step on
Well,
myself.
let me tell you something. Any IEP, I'll just tell you this, anything that's designated in an IEP is gonna help somebody else too. Okay? So yes, ma'am. All right, have I done everything with objectives that you need? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Okay, assessments. All right, let's think about this right here now. Assessments align with the lesson objectives. Go back and look. Go back and look. It includes informal, formal, and formative. Now, this is what I want to explain on that. Informal is like turning talks, think, pair, shares, what else?
Walking around the classroom.
Walking around, observation, checklist that if you've got. Remember, I had your rubric the other day, and I was checking off everything. And by the way, I'll finish those today, if I haven't already. And then informal and formal. Formal. What are the more formal assessments? Now, that doesn't mean it's a summative.
Like an exit ticket.
An exit ticket.
Anticipation.
What? Your anticipation guide. And I told you you better put one in there. Remember? Okay. A graphic organizer. That's formal. Why? What is the difference between informal and formal?
It can be graded.
It can be graded. It can be checked. They are writing. Okay, now let me show you something. Formative, only reason I said that is because what happens with our formative assessments? What does it mean to be informed, you guys?
It can be explained.
Huh? What does it mean?
Like, to be told something.
You be told something, give information to, right? So why am I using formative assessments? To see what they're learning all through the lesson. This should be ongoing. Remember that when I talked to you about that in 3310. Formative assessments ongoing through the lesson. Okay? Pre and post. I want that anticipation guide to be your pre and post. That's easy enough. You're giving it when? At the beginning of the lesson and at the end. Okay, good. All right, your materials, those teacher materials are listed, students' materials are listed, all of it. You don't have to say teacher materials, student materials, but that's a good idea for you to do that. Materials clearly supported by lesson objectives. If Sarah's given a graphic organizer, guess what? That graphic organizer needs to be there. If you've got an anticipation guide, guess what? It needs to be in the material section. Pencils, put them in there. If your students have to get up and go get something that's not there, that's points off. Yes, ma'am, Kylie.
So for my thing, I have my anticipation guide in my assessments. Do I have to put that in my instructional sequence if it's in my assessments?
Where are you giving it? Where are you handing it to them?
I'm giving it during my lesson, but could I put anticipation guide will be handed out and it be in my
Yes,
assessments?
yes, because you've already put it somewhere. You don't even, let me tell you something, you don't even have to include that anticipation guide in your lesson plan. You can just say I'm giving it out. If that takes up too much space, you don't have to do that. You can include it in your what do we call that, archives, or your things that things that go along, your artifacts, I meant, not archives, that's, yeah, but anyway, artifacts, good word there. Okay, here's where you can also put links for videos, okay, got that? Yes, ma'am.
Are anticipation guides and my vocab cards? I'm doing them on Canva. Can I put the link for those?
Certainly.
Okay.
Sure.
And then put worksheet but then there's
Yes, ma'am. That was just a question about that was, can I put links to worksheets, links to anticipation guides, whatever? Yes. If it takes up too much space, that's where you cut. Those are some places you cut. Okay. Any questions about materials?
So this can be cut, sorry, just to summarize, this can be cut from here to say.
Yes,
because I
it
have
can
7
be
pages
cut
right
from
now.
there. You have how many?
7 pages right now.
Yeah, you better cut it.
Yeah.
Just give out anticipation guide. And then, Sarah Mosley, what you're going to do is include that in your artifacts.
Okay.
Artifacts are what you're going to use, your materials, like your graphic organizers. Just a copy of it so I can see it. right? Okay, the next thing is your anticipatory set, your introduction, your hook, whatever you want to call it. This is the beginning. A lesson has how many parts? 3. Beginning, a during, and an after, right? So the beginning, I'm going to hook those students some way. It may be just a little question. I love somebody dressing up. I love all the things. Camille, are you still doing that? Okay, so Camille's tired today, but she is going to dress up that day. She's going to have that boost of energy. She's going to have her, what are those drinks? Red Bull, and she's going to be ready to go. Okay, so she's going to hook, she's going to engage these students. And then she's going to activate prior knowledge. What is that? What do we do there?
See what they already know about.
See what they already know. Now, what are you doing in the anticipatory set that activates prior knowledge? You're doing, may do some turning talks, but what else are you doing?
Anticipation.
That anticipation guy. That's activating prior knowledge. Are you connecting the lesson to their experiences? Do you mention something that maybe they've done before, or ask them if they've done before? Yes, ma'am.
Does your anticipation guide have to be before or after you hook your students? Or
Oh, it can be after.
Okay.
It can be
So you can
before, but I do it after. I
Okay.
hook them first.
Okay. 'Cause
That's my first thing I want to do.
that's how I have it, but I just wanted to make sure.
You're good.
Do they, do you give them the anticipation guide and then they do ICANN statements, or flipped?
I do a hook. This is the way I do it. I do a hook. I do the anticipation guide, and then I start I say, okay, now we're going to talk about what we're going to learn today. And I want us to look at our ICANN statements, and I want you to repeat after me. So all that to me is in the introduction, but that's the way I do it, Kai. I'm not going to.
Well, that's how I had it. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't backwards.
I don't know that there is a said way for that, but and it could be. But you're going to do ICANN statements here, and I'm telling you, I count off big time on that. It includes clear connection to the previous learning. If they've learned anything prior to that, you need to connect it. Some strategies in here that you might want to start with. An entrance slip, which is like an anticipation guide, kind of. Questions or discussions. You might do a KWL chart. You might do it. Now, I want to tell you something. KWL chart's not a pre and post. Won't serve as a pre and post. Don't use it as pre. You can use one, but don't use it as pre and post. Okay. Video or visual. You remember Miss Lotsbat's lesson? She put a video in there. That was one part of her hook, because she gave us information on bats, right? Or an interactive activity, something they can really move. Now, did I include everything, or do I need to put something in there? Yes, ma'am.
That doesn't come at the end, right? Because I have a video link right before my anticipatory guide block that goes along with my hook, like I was going to help build background for
Perfect.
using that. Okay.
Yes.
I have my vocabulary in the introduction right now. Is that okay, or should it be in the
Let me put that in there. Yes, ma'am.
Does that one have to be in your hook, or can it be at the beginning of your instructional sequence?
Hold on. What, sweetie?
So I have my vocab as soon as I start like
That's
my
fine.
during. Okay.
It can go, let's say anticipatory set or instructional. Does that make you feel better? And remember, what do they have to have? Tell me, what do the vocabulary cards have to have? The words, the definition,
A sentence.
what else? A picture,
A sentence.
sentence.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then it could have.
You can do part of
syllables.
speech. But really and truly, I'm loving just a word, definition, picture, and sentence. I want pictures wherever. And remember, you got to use some kind of primary source. I forgot to put that on there, but I will
And
next.
your vocabulary card?
No. In the lesson somewhere.
Do you have to do vocabulary cards?
Do you have to do vocabulary cards? Are you doing vocabulary at all?
No.
No. Do you
I'm-
need vocabulary?
I'm going to the cause and effect of the Boston Tea Party. So like they should all know like
I did.
calling a star.
I did in my passage. I took out words that I thought they might not know and did vocab on that.
That's that. Yeah. If you go through, if you have you got to have a piece of text, right? So if you're going through a piece of text and you see words that they may not know what they mean, yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
With the thing you say has vocab in the back of it, am I allowed to like pull from those words?
Certainly,
I
certainly.
just wanna make sure that was.
But now listen to this. You can introduce them to quite a few vocabulary words, but don't zero in on 10 vocabulary words. You get me? That's a long vocabulary list. You might want to, when you get, narrow it down as much as possible. When you get to those, yes, 4, 3, 4, that's good. But when you get to those extra words, you can always go back and say, now remember, this means so-and-so. Okay? Yes, ma'am, Emma Grace.
If I have the pictures on the vocabulary cards, is that enough for a primary source? Or
If it is a primary source, like if you have the Constitution as a word, and you have that Constitution there, it's actually not a primary source because it's a picture of the Constitution. You see what I'm saying? So be careful on that. Be careful. What is your primary source?
I don't think it's gonna work.
Well, can you put a primary source in there? And you don't have to spend a lot of time. You can use a picture of Martin Luther King Jr. and just say, this is who we're going to be talking about. What's your lesson about?
We're comparing and contrasting the different parts of being a citizen. Like
Different parts of what?
being a citizen, like the requirements,
Oh.
responsibilities, and rights.
Okay.
Like the difference in it.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe something, if you could find a picture, if you could stage it to where like you had a picture of Kendall picking up paper off the ground. That would be good. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question. Like for my primary source, I found a YouTube clip of Larlene being inaugurated.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. All right, so you got that. Yeah. All right. Anything else in the anticipatory set, in the introduction? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have a map as my primary source.
Yes.
But it's one that like I kind of edited to have like a key, like a legend in there. Is that still a primary?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, instructional sequence. Look at my time. I went back and said, because in the anticipatory set, right here, I gave you 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, it doesn't, you can do 6, you can do 7, just go through and time yourself, okay? And remember, you guys, remember to give time for them to answer questions. Because it's going to take them longer than it did the other day, than it does with you guys, because you're going to snap them out there and give the right answers, right? Okay, tell me what happened the other day when you were pair teaching. You didn't have a big group. What happened with your lesson time?
A lot shorter.
It was shorter. Why, Maddie Grace?
Because we only had 2 people.
Because you only had 2 people. Remember? Y'all told me that. So that was a good reflection, a good observation. When you just had the 2 people, it cut it shorter. So give that time for 6 students. Now, when I do a turn and talk, do I have to call on 6 students? No. I can call on 2. I can call on 1. And then I can do another turn and talk and call on another one. Okay. Instructional sequence should be step by step as much as possible. Go back and read yours. Read it over and over. Make sure you've included everything. Make sure it makes sense. Yes, ma'am, Kylie.
I feel like mine.
Macaulay.
So I have mine's 5 pages right now.
Okay.
I've shortened it like a lot.
That's okay.
But in my thing, I feel like it's too because it's like we'll now read the 3rd chunk, and then it's like 30 seconds for students' response. Do I need all that, or can I just because my instructional sequence is really long compared to everything else.
Oh, it should be.
But whenever I timed it, my lesson was exactly 30 minutes.
Ooh, because you didn't have anybody answering. Did you
No,
get some wait time?
yeah, that's why
Okay.
I put like 30
Well, you're
seconds.
good.
But it's
You're
5
good.
pages.
Okay. No, it's fine if it's, I just told y'all a little while ago, it's
Yeah.
fine. Do you have your anticipation guide in there?
And I
You
just
might want to take it out.
okay. Because
And
I
include
deleted
it in your artifacts.
because I deleted it in one area. but then I put it in my assessments.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, step by step, teacher actions and student actions. In other words, I'm giving myself time for questions. I'm giving my students time to answer, right? Higher order questions there. When you ask those questions, why don't you I would take Bloom's taxonomy and I would go through and I would make sure that those verbs, everything that I'm asking includes some of that. Because that's taking them to a higher level. Okay? And go up the chart too. Don't forget to do that. You know, you don't want to have all of your questions coming from the knowledge section or the recall. Instructional strategies are clearly described, and that's why I've got some of these out today, because I want you to look at some of them. Technology integration is included if applicable. Now, if you don't use your computer at all, that's fine. But you should try to use some technology in your lesson if at all possible. Differentiated instruction is described. Chunking the text is one of them. Reading aloud might be one of them. Hands-on activities. Okay, accommodations and modifications for IEP or 504 students are included. You see that. Supports for students in the gap. Those that are in the gap, those struggling students. Okay? All right, now, any questions on the instructional sequence? That is the meat of your lesson. Don't forget that. That is the meat. That should take you the longest. All right, the next part is the academic language. You have a chart. And that chart, well, let me get there. Yeah, I got it on there. Use that chart. Put it at the end of the instructional sequence, okay? If you don't have it there, just copy and paste and put it down at the end of the sequence. That chart can also be minimized. I think it's designed to be. You can take it and make it smaller. Academic language there. Vocabulary terms are listed. Definitions are included. Did she tell y'all that?
It's in our BATS lesson.
Okay. Targeted language supports are identified. Some examples for targeted language supports: word walls, anchor charts, graphic organizers, vocabulary cards with pictures. Language and components that are included is demand, function, vocabulary, syntax, and discourse. Anybody have questions on what those are? Because I'm not going to stay there but a minute if y'all don't have any questions.
Where do we find that chart? Like, I know it's in our
That chart,
lesson.
she should have given y'all one.
It's in our BATS, like it's
Yeah,
page
but-
5.
I've got one. I've got a blank
Can
one.
you
I
put the
can.
blank
I
one
can.
in?
Lord, please forgive me if I forget it. Would you make sure you email me and tell me to put the language chart?
So the chart that was in the BATS lesson doesn't have those things. It has some other.
What does
things.
it have in it?
Language supports for vocabulary, language supports for discourse, syntax, behavioral accommodations, and individual academic accommodations.
Okay, this is the one that Dr. Evans sent me, which is what I would use. There it is, right there.
Ah.
Okay,
Can you post that?
I'm gonna teach y'all that. I'm gonna put it on I'm gonna put it on that CEA thing. You've got vocabulary words, the supports for vocabulary words, that's your cards. Language supports for discourse, questions, answers. Language supports for syntax, ordering language, graphic organizer, behavioral supports for lessons. If you have to have somewhere for special people, for people to sit, anything, behavioral sports, I think some of the things, and she may argue with me on this, but I think equity cards, your equity cards are going to be good behavioral support. Yes, Kendall, what was your question?
So on the behavioral accommodations, that doesn't have to be in our context for learning to put it in there.
Does it have to what now?
It doesn't have to be from our context of learning to put it in there because I don't have any behavior issues.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I can write things that weren't in there.
I think that's fine. Yeah, only thing I'm telling you, you are doing behavioral supports.
Right.
When you use your equity cards, that's fine. Just put equity sticks. I'll tell you another thing you're doing. Materials organized.
Like classroom management.
Yes, classroom management things. So yeah, you are using them, and I will. Yes, ma'am. I will be glad to send you guys that today. Okay. All right. So
It says that.
okay. Here's the body of the instruction here. Are you modeling? Make sure you model. You know, if you write it on a chart and you expect them to write it at their desk, you're modeling. If you are reading something and then you expect them to read after you read. What about your I-CAN statements? Don't you read them for them before they come back and read them with you? Okay, think aloud explanations. Think alouds are for students, but they're also for teachers. You know, if you're thinking and then speaking it and talking to them about that. Correct and incorrect shows correct and incorrect examples. Maybe you need to make sure that you do that. This would be incorrect. This is correct, the correct way to do it. Opportunities for guided practice. Guided practice is that we do, right? And I should probably put that on there. Teacher models, that's the I do, we do. Then includes opportunities for the student discussion or collaboration, and then teachers monitor our students there, their understanding. That is where your assessment is ongoing in your lesson. Use equity sticks, following turn and talks, questions, think, pair, shares, that sort of thing. So what was it I said here that we need to put? Right here, models the skill. That's the I do. And then this is a we do, right? Let's say here, independent. Oh boy, I'd murder that. Work is the you do. And be careful on putting too much of that in there because it takes up so much time, the you do. Be careful. Closure. You ought to be able to do this with your eyes closed completely. What am I going to do here? I'm going to give a summary of what they learned. Okay, boys and girls, today we talked about this, and this, and this. Remember, this is what we did. I can't remember which one of you gave such a good review at the end of your lesson, your little current events lesson, but one of you gave a very good review. And then you go back and you give them, you might give them the anticipation guide again. That can be your anticipation guide section. You don't have to do it in your instructional sequence, do it there. And then you want to connect those objectives and assessments again. You want to use those I-CAN statements. Okay, boys and girls, let's go through. Watch that. Look at that watch. If you've got enough time to do this, this is what you do with I-CAN statements. Now listen to me carefully. Quit typing and listen. When you get to this part, this is a good place for you to look at them and say, did we do that? Give me a thumbs up if we did. Okay, Kyle, I'm pulling your stick. Can you tell me how we did that and what the meaning of it and all? Let's talk about it, discuss it a little bit, right? Okay, that's a good, you don't even have to do a summary if you do that. You can use your I-CAN statements to do that. Then the teacher says, if I were teaching you tomorrow, y'all better put that in there. Okay. And then if you've got some homework outside or anything like that, you will not have that. So that will just be for like NTPA purposes. Got it? The next part is the arts part. Now, on your lesson plan, I think, if I'm not badly mistaken, the arts part is there. Am I right?
No, mine is there. I would use it.
It's down at the bottom, yes,
Okay, so I'm
right
on
there.
that one.
In your CEA portion of our Canvas shell for social studies, I will make sure today for those ECE students, if in that email, will you include check practicum for updated lesson plan template with ARC standards, okay? If you will do that. Okay, so this is where you're gonna do this. All right, now, the beauty, the thing I've done for you is because those ARC standards are so huge, do y'all remember it?
Yes.
Humongous. I have given you a cut version of the easier ones to use. That's okay. The easier ones to use. So I'm going to show you where I've housed those. And I may just put that on this part as well.
Do we use Bloom's? Because whenever I did mine, I think I used some Bloom's words whenever I
You
did
can, but all I want, hold on. Okay, in the arts, in the curriculum in elementary school, which is module 2, which is so huge, here are, okay, no, that's not where they are. Hold on. I'll show you, but I'm gonna put them in, okay, here they are. Look what I did for you guys. I'll copy and paste and put these in your section where in the CEA, and I'll do the same thing for the ECE people, but that will be in practicum for them. Y'all understand now, your lesson plan goes in your course, okay? So what I did was I just went through and I did the standards that were easiest to do. I put one, and these, now listen, those ARC standards are grouped according to grade groups. They're not specific for kindergarten, first, second, and third. You can do this kindergarten through grade 2, explore and use basic art elements like line, shape, color, texture to express ideas. All right, so the student goal, that's the objectives basically. Use line, shapes, and colors to show people, places, or events in your community. You can draw a neighborhood map. Okay? Here's one, create images that tell a story or show sequence. They can tell a story about a local tradition through a series of drawings. They can make a 3-panel comic or a local festival sequence of pictures or historical event. Let's go on to 6th grade down here, so these people that have that. Okay, the first one is sophisticated composition, perspective, and media techniques. Use these to show a historical event. That can be like a diorama. Now remember, you're not teaching this unless you just can fit it in. You don't have to teach this. And this could be your, tomorrow we will do this, right? You could do the arts piece with them the next day. So if I were teaching something in 5th and 6th grade, if I wanted them to do a diorama, y'all know what those are, where you take the little shoe box and you cut the holes in it, and you look in there and you see a scene of whatever you're talking about. Maybe it's the battle yeah, Gettysburg, Battle of Gettysburg. Thank you. All right, here, cultural identity and history. Compare artworks from different times. You can have pictures there. That's where you use some really good primary sources. Periods and cultures, and explain the historical influence. Use a Venn diagram. Compare historical versus contemporary depictions of the same place. Research and present on immigrant art traditions and communities. So I've done all of this, and then I just went in and did some practical teaching tips. And look at this one, community symbols. You can take them and let them sketch a community symbol and then redesign it if you want them to. So what you're doing is you're including one of these standards, or if you want to jump out on a limb and go through all those standards in the arts thing, you go for it. But don't come back and ask me about it. Use one of these, put it in your section. Here's my standard. I do not have to write I can statements. I don't have to do anything, but I need to write a paragraph. Now here's what it says. Let's come back to this. Put the art standard in there, and then write a paragraph on how you would teach that standard in the lesson if you were teaching it. Just a paragraph. Okay? Is everybody okay with that? Yes, ma'am.
So do we still have to put it in our instructional?
No.
No, okay.
This is on that last little block. Yes.
So I have 6th grade, and right here the standard, it says use a visual documentation and archival images as a primary source. Is it okay if I use that?
Yes.
So that would be okay?
Yes. Perfect.
Because like I can actually incorporate it because
Yeah.
I have to have it.
You're doing that anyway, aren't you? Aren't you doing that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
My art element is in the you do of my instructional sequence. So would I still write a paragraph on if I were to like dedicate a
Why don't you say C instructional sequence?
Ah, good idea. So I'm gonna put that on.
Where are these standards?
Go to.
Or just give me a little few sentences. I taught this in my lesson. C instructional sequence. Give me some help here. Okay, my final review. This is it. Are all my sections complete? I've looked back at every one of them. I've done my checklist. Are my lessons, are my standards and objectives aligned? Again, include your assessments there. Lesson uses differentiation. It supports diverse learners. Is my academic language clearly addressed? And if you put that chart in there, you should have no problem there. I have seen students also, if they put the chart in there, they'll go back and highlight or bold print some of the academic language that's in there, like vocabulary cards. Writing is clear, organized, and professional. Please go back and read it after you write it. Sometimes I get stuff and I'm thinking, what do they mean here? Okay? Any questions about the checklist, about what you have to turn in on Friday, about the art standard? Yes.
Mine's the art standards. We just have to put, like, can we just copy and paste the standard? We don't have to put the student goal or activities, right?
No.
Okay.
You just copy and paste this art standard and put it in there. Yes, ma'am.
Can you come? You know how our objective series continue to like our assessments? Before, but it's like not going to take a long.
You're fine. You're fine. She's got 4 standards. Objectives. That's what she was asking about. But they're short and they don't take a lot of time. So I can live with that. I'm not gonna have a fit over that one. But I don't have a fit if you don't do those objectives right.
So I know only one has to be measurable, right? Like only one of my objectives has to be like 4 out of 5.
No, that's
No.
science. That's
Who?
science.
Huh?
Oh,
That's
so
science.
they all have to be
They
measurable.
all have to be measurable.
Oh, where'd y'all? Okay, wait. I gotta know where
Science.
that's coming from.
Science, we only have to have one
No,
measurable. But in
no,
here, we
not
have
in
to have
here.
all of them.
And here, every one of, now I know where this is coming from.
And we get to have 80% like
Everyone,
No.
everyone tells us something different.
Y'all, I'm so sorry that they did, and I don't know why. All I know is that 5E lesson plan is different. Look, that's what that checklist is for. You use this with social studies and reading. You do what they say do. I'm sorry about that, but you're going to run into that. Yes.
Okay, so they both have to
All
be
objectives
measurable.
have to be measurable.
So if I have 2 standards and I have 2 objectives,
You're good.
perfect, right? Okay.
I'm so glad you asked that.
Yeah, because
I'm so glad she asked that. See?
one of mine's not.
No, you got to, all of it's got to be measurable. I've run into that semester after semester. I think they did a beautiful job on objective 1. What did they miss? What? Now I know. I'm very sorry. I wish I had connected with that somewhere along the way, but I did not. Okay. That's a wrap on that.